Welcome. Thank you for watching with us today and joining us today as we worship. It's been an honor and a privilege to work with this group to keep everyone together worshiping through Zoom. We miss worshiping in person, but I'm so thankful for what technology has done to keep us together in some ways. And we have two songs that we would like to share with you that have really brought us a lot of comfort during this season, and so we're going to share those with you.
I'm going to open us up in prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for giving us this day, and thank you for letting us come together and just share a video so people can see and learn more about you. And I just pray that everyone will get something out of this devotion and our songs of worship. In Jesus' name, amen.
Soften my heart to break
beginning. Can't control what tomorrow will bring, but I know here in the middle is the place where you promised to be. Not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? As I walk down through the valley, let your love rise above every fear, like the sun shaking the shadow. In my weakness, your glory appears. Not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? Not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? 'Cause all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? Not enough unless you come. Will you meet me here again? All I want is all I want is all you are. Will you meet me here again? So today I want to talk about the body of Christ, and I'm going to read some verses from 1 Corinthians. In 1 Corinthians chapter 12, and then in verse 12 and 13, it says, "For just as the body is one and has many members, and all the members of the body, though many, are one body, so it is with Christ. For in one Spirit we are all baptized into one body, Jews or Greeks, slaves or free, and all were made to drink of one Spirit. And then going down to verses 25 and 26, which says that there may be no division in the body, but the members may have the same care for one another. If one member suffers, all suffer together. If one member is honored, all rejoice together. So the main takeaways from these verses is that it says one body. It doesn't say that there's many bodies, but that we're one body of Christ. That just includes like all believers, no matter what church you're from or your denomination, your gender or race. We're all one body, and we're called to take care of each other and just go through life together. And like it says in verses, in the verse 26, of how if one's suffering, then we're supposed to walk with them and help them out and just like suffer with them and like carry their load and just help them out. And then the cool thing is that even though we can help with the suffering, we can also help in the rejoicing too. And the same thing goes for that. Like if another member of the body is rejoicing, then we can rejoice with them and just celebrate that with them. And I also want to read from Ephesians in chapter 4 in verse 15 and 16, which says, "Rather, speaking the truth in love, we are to grow up in every way into Him who is the head, into Christ, from the whole body joined and held together by every joint with which it is equipped. When each part is working properly, makes the body grow so that it builds up itself in love." So also in these verses it says one body. It doesn't say like many bodies like the other verses. We're a whole body. And then the reason that we're called to like walk with each other and suffer and rejoice with each other is because we're called to love each other, and like as we're loving each other, we're growing. And if you think about like how a tree grows, it grows up towards the sun, like which is the source of energy and light, and that's like how it grows and all. And like it says in verse 15, when we are to grow up in every way, we're growing into Christ, who is the head of the body, which is really cool to think about like a body and how the head is at the top. So when we're growing and we're loving each other, we're growing up towards Christ, which is the head of the body. And then I also want to look at verses in 2 Corinthians in chapter 9, verses 10 through 15. "He who supplies seed to the sower and bread for food will supply and multiply your seed for sowing and increase the harvest of your righteousness. You will be enriched in every way, to be generous in every way, through us will produce thanksgiving to God. For the ministry of this service is not only supplying the needs of the saints, but is also overflowing in many thanksgivings to God. By their approval of this service, they will glorify God because of your submission that comes from your confession of the gospel of Christ, and the generosity of your contribution for them and for all others, while they long for you and pray for you because of the surpassing grace of God upon you. Thanks be to God for His inexpressible gift." So from these verses, as like our generosity of helping each other out as we're suffering and rejoicing and we're just loving on each other, we're going to be enriched, like it says in verse 11, "You will be enriched every way, to be generous in every way, through us will produce thanksgiving to God." And also, like doing this, we're serving God. So as we're serving each other, we're serving God. Like it says in verses 12 and 13, "For the ministry of this service is not only supplying the needs of the saints, but is also overflowing in many thanksgivings to God. By their approval of this service, they will glorify God because of your submission that comes from your confession of the gospel of Christ and the generosity of your contribution for them and for all others." So because of this, like thanksgiving and glory will be given to God, and then others are going to see like our love that we have for others, and they're going to like, as we walk with them, they're going to see that we're serving God. So I just want to like, the main takeaways from all of this is that we're one body, and we're called to walk with others as we're suffering and rejoicing, and because of this, like we're doing it out of love, and as we're doing it out of love, we're just serving God. So that's all I have for y'all today.
Let us close in a word of prayer. Dear Lord, thank you for giving us this day, and thank you for giving us these few minutes where we can just come and get into your word, God. I just pray that we'll remember that we were created to be loving to one another. I pray that we know that We are made to suffer with others and rejoice with others. I pray that we will love everybody that you've created. I pray that people will see our light that shines so others will follow you. God, I pray that we'll all honor you and just do what's right and love one another because that is what we are called to do. In Jesus' name, amen.